Hey, this is Christina from Hoopla,
I'm Megan from Southern Brandy.
and we have been talking for about 45 minutes, which is pretty normal for us. We end up talking before and after we record the show, and we were going to bring a couple topics this week, which were kind of building your tribe and finding that support system, as well as sustainability practices within the promotional products industry. But we have both decided we're not in the mood to discuss either one of those things. So we're kind of just going to talk about like what's been top of mind for us. Just recently, I think both of us have been feeling a lot of burnout. And so we're going to kind of talk through what does that look like and like how to remedy
that. Do you have solutions? Were you bringing solutions or?
I have some solutions. I mean, I don't know if they'll work.
Well, let's talk about it because our conversation before was just both like mental headspace and how much of a challenge that is right now for lots of reasons, whether it's personal, business, just the whole last 18 months. And then also looking at the trajectory of the next year with our businesses and how that's looking and just the amount of work that it takes. So I think keeping a positive mindset is really tough right now. And not even like for us and for you to like businesses picking back up, like things are happening, but I think that we're all still struggling mentally to keep up with that because everything is requiring so much more mental work to be
there's a lot of problem solving going on right now because of, as we've talked about, stock issues, and just shipping and just a plethora of things to do with the promotional products industry, but also like, Megan and I, it's like the calm before the storm, or if you're a Game of Thrones fan, winter is coming for us. Like Q4 is literally like in your face, like crazy busy because of the holidays. Everyone, if they have extra spend or they have spend set aside for holiday gifts for whether it's their clients or their internal team. So that is just a crazy time of year.
Which is one thing when it's the, that's the work part of it. But then you add on the challenges of the whole, the past 18 months that everybody has experienced. And so then, that's, I don't think that we've recharged, to be able to get energized for this next part. So it's like, I think we're now like both aware of, okay, we have to recharge so that we can really, hit it. And I think that's probably a pretty common problem. Like it's been really challenging. I keep saying challenging. It's being really challenging, the past 18 months. I don't mean just on a business level. I think the mental exhaustion has just been overwhelming. So like, how do we do that? Like I told you, when we joined the calls, like today was one of those days for me that like I really wanted to stay in bed and pull the covers back up over my head. But for me, like I knew we were doing this today. And so I showed up today for you. Like I made this commitment. We're doing this. Like that got me going. So what are some other ways? Originally we were going to be talking about like your tribe and the connection with other women in relationships. And that kind of tied into that for me. Cause I was like, okay, I'm getting out of bed. I'm showing up today because I've made this commitment to Christina and it's important to me to show up for her. And so for today, like that's what it was for me today. So like, what else, what do you have?
So a couple things. One is Megan and I, Megan reached out to me, oh golly, 3 months ago. I don't remember. It was probably 3 months ago. I think the reason you had reached out to me initially was to kind of get some tips and tricks on social media, like marketing and posting and stuff. And then you reached out to me again and you were kind of like, I have an idea. Like, how can we collaborate? And we weren't really friends yet. We were kind of like acquaintances. And I said, okay, well, I'll give it a try. Who knows?
Yeah.
But long story short, now we're friends. I would consider you a friend. We, yeah, when we have our calls every week, we end up talking. As long as we're doing these videos, we're talking before and after about business, but a lot of times about our personal lives and just like,
absolutely,
what we're going through at the moment. So I think like just always being open to connecting with people, because you just never know who's going to end up being that kind of sounding board for you at that point in your life, because relationships, friendships, they kind of ebb and flow and change. And I was telling Megan recently, I've been doing a lot of, and I can get like this, I'm an only child and I'm really into self-help and growth. So I can get like this just out of nowhere where I become very insular and don't want to talk to people because I'm working on myself. And that's where I am right now. I'm like kind of like a caterpillar building my little, what is it called? A chrysalis? I don't know. Cocoon.
yes, cocoon. Yeah.
So it's funny, we're going to do about building your tribe. And right now I'm very like insular. But I love talking to Megan once a week because it does still give me that connection I need with, someone that's in a similar situation as me, a woman-owned business, a mom, a wife, and all of that jazz. So I think it's important to kind of keep someone in your sphere when you're kind of feeling alone, or maybe you're choosing to be alone. You sent me a podcast, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I finally listened to most of it. Yeah, I finally listened to most of it a couple days ago, and it was Glennon Doyle, right? And I forgot the name of the podcast. The
podcast is the We Can Do Hard Things.
Yes, but what was that actual topic? Do you remember?
I don't remember what that week was, but it's whatever we had been discussing.
And I had listened to that specific one she had sent me because I thought that was the one she wanted me to listen to. And it was funny because it was Glennon talking to her sister. And it was a personal conversation she was having with her sister, and they weren't going to air it on the podcast, but they ended up airing it. And I could just feel a lot of like synchronicity in what they were talking about for myself at different moments in my life and career. And it was kind of almost how, and this is a generalization, but you might be able to relate to it, how men are very good at kind of completing their tasks and then relaxing and doing what brings them joy and kind of separating their mind from life. I don't know if I'm articulating it correctly. We'll have to link the actual podcast, but it was basically about how women are constantly, we are tasked with, whether it's from our own minds or it's just that's the typical family dynamic, with every ongoing list for the home and the family. And there's never a time to turn off and shut down and kind of recalibrate yourself. So it resonated with me. And I think that's why I do get antisocial when I'm working on myself, because I don't have enough time in the day to do everything that needs to be done as a wife, a mother, a business owner, and to work on myself and be social. So I have to cut something out.
So I just want to point out that one thing that you were saying though is that you're doing that, like becoming insular because you are working on yourself.
Right.
So I think, which is amazing. And I think a lot of us though also, like, we get this story or at least I do, this is how it is for me. I'll get this story going in my head about, I don't have time to do anything. I can't do anything for myself. I need to be doing all these other things. I'm not, and so then I'm doing it to myself, whether, it's out of whatever the reasons are, not feeling that I have enough time, deserving, spite, like whatever it is, I'm not allowing it for myself. And then it's really me. It's not the outside world and the story that I'm telling. Yeah. So what do you do for yourself?
Well, so first of all, I replay that dialogue all the time. And usually when I'm in that kind of cycle where I don't have time, I'm using my free time to unwind, usually in unhealthy ways, in quick ways. I'm having that wine, I'm, binge watching that show. Nothing's wrong with any of that. But I'm not having that time and I'm so mentally exhausted. So it's so much easier for me to unwind and decompress with those kind of easier things like, shopping, binge
Other stuff
watching.
is harder.
Yeah. And so I have to literally make a commitment to myself. And and I just do. And so usually, and I think I talked about this in another episode, I'll pick one thing that I'm going to be consistent on all week long. And I don't make it like I'm doing an hour-long yoga. I make it something very easy that I can commit to and build my confidence with in setting up some self-care for myself. And I'll do that for a week consistently. And then the next week I'll think, what else am I kind of feeling like I'm missing out on, like in my self-care? And then I'll think of that second thing. Oh, maybe I've been eating like a ton of sugar because that's like how I'm feeling good at the end of the night, like a treat. And I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to have any sugar this week or whatever I'm adding in. And every week I kind of just build upon it. And then it just becomes like a little avalanche or like a little, it really starts all coming together for me.
Yeah. I think another piece of it is it's that fear of unknown. So if you do start making changes or you do start doing things and you do start growing in certain ways, then what does that look like with you in relationship to everything around you and what changes? Like that's also, so it's that fear of like, oh gosh, if I do things to make my situation different, to better myself or to do things in any other way, like what does that mean for the way the rest of my life looks? And whether it's a fear of relationships, your business, whatever it may be, like what happens then? And so sometimes we hold ourselves back in those ways.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. And I think if I think back at any point in my life where I had really a lot of challenge and strife, I don't really have that problem as much being, 40 or whatever, but like, when I was younger, whenever I faced a lot of turmoil or challenges or just unhappiness in my life, I always came out so much stronger and like learning a lesson, and life really got better for me when I got out of that darkness. And so I try to frame in my mind that change is good. Being scared is good. And hard work, whatever that may be, challenges, it's only going to make life better for you. Yeah. Because you're meant to learn something from this or grow. So,
but it's so much easier for us to like do the easy things and to repeat these stories and to stay in that comfortable little box. So whatever that looks like for each of us, like get out of bed and connect with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, make yourself a priority. And it's especially as a mom, I think I can feel really like selfish saying like, I need to be alone. Or, I mean, sometimes I'll try to wake up at like 5 a.m. before anyone else wakes up, but I hate doing that too. So anyways, I think like, it's just also understanding my mom and my whole family, they're all flight attendants. So this always resonates with me. In an emergency, you must put the mask on yourself first. So I always remind myself of that I can't be a good partner, a good mother, and everything that I want to be if I'm not taking care of myself first.
Yeah, totally.
So that's kind of how I approach it.
Yeah, absolutely. I told you I want to do this yoga retreat, right?
I'm really excited for you. I want you to send me the information because maybe I'll tag along.
Okay. Oh yeah, great. And then we could record live from wherever. Yeah.
I'd be totally into that. Oh, and I have a little funny tidbit. I didn't even think of a question today, but I have a funny tidbit. My son, who's 9, isn't really into sports, but he likes dancing, like kind of like hip hop, Fortnite dancing.
Yeah.
But he's, he just comes up with his moves himself. I also like dancing, but I just like taught myself dancing from like the nightclubs.
Are you going to do a mother-son hip hop class?
Well, no, I'm not going to do that. I have on my to-do list for us to learn some Fortnite dances or there's a new type of dance called shuffling. And so I have a goal for us to learn one of those things and do a reel on it for fun. But there's this yoga studio near my house that I just saw recently, and it's also a dance studio. So if you buy the yoga studio membership, you get the dance studio membership for free. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to take an adult hip hop class.
Do it.
And
Yes.
like normally I would feel really like cheesy for doing that, like such a dork and like, oh my God, I'm going to look stupid. But then I was like, all my life, I've always really liked dancing, but never took any classes. Same with, I was telling you, I was teaching myself watercolor recently. I never explored like an artistic side of myself or like dancing or any of that kind of stuff. And so I just said YOLO. I don't know if that made me sound old, but like, who cares? I'm just gonna, maybe I'll love it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll get a couple good moves for PPAI Vegas in January that I can bust out. But I just have this like new lens on life. Like, I'm just gonna try things and see what like brings me joy. And life is too short to not like move forward and create this foundation for you to have your just best life.
Totally. I actually have, and I'm glad that you said that because I need to revisit it. I started a list last year of things that I wanted to do. So dance class is actually on there.
Cool.
And so are art classes. I used to love art, like creating art in that way. And I haven't in years. And I need to do it. I need to do that for myself. Just gonna do it.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. Well, here I'm going to end our session. This was kind of fun. I kind of needed this. But what are you going to commit to as being like your next kind of hobby that you commit to, like taking a class or like making time for?
So I'm going to commit to, cause I just said this. So I really want to do a yoga retreat because yoga for me was very, it's like introspective. It's like emotions just come out. Like I don't,
therapeutic.
The emotions just come out on it. And I haven't had a practice in a long time. And when I was doing it consistently, it was so therapeutic and beneficial and a way to like let my body and mind connect and to have a relationship with my body. Like that was a big thing for me as well, as like connecting to my body physically. So yeah, I'm gonna commit to do that. I am starting my practice again so that I can get myself in shape to do this at a retreat that I want to do, and I'm gonna make time for it and do it.
How many days a week? Let's make it measurable.
I'm gonna commit to 4 days a week.
That's great. Okay, we're going to check in with Megan. We've decided to take next week off because I'm going to Sonoma and both of us are burnt out. So we're going to take next week off. My commitment is I am going to commit to signing up for that adult hip hop class. I'm going to Fort Worth, Texas in early August. So I don't want to sign up until we get back because I just want to be able to go and not be interrupted. So we'll check in. I love it. In August, Megan and I are really going to hit it hard and give you some really good weekly brand babes talk on just really gearing up for the holidays this year.
Yeah. Which really means like now. You should call us now.
Yeah, totally. But we'll give you some good educations, hot items, tips and tricks, and how to really slay this holiday with some branded merch and gifts.
Fabulous. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.